Novocaine is a lovely song by Shiloh Dynasty, really easy to play on guitar. There's only 4 chords as you heard there, so let's have a look at those. And the song is in standard tuning, and the first chord is this E minor 7th. Okay, so E minor would normally be the 7th fret, but we're going to remove that little finger on the 3rd string, and that will give you your E minor 7th. Okay. And then that slides down to the B minor 7th, same chord shape but the 2nd fret. And then we move up to D minor 7th. Yep, all the same chord shape, and then it goes to A minor 7th. So they're the 4 chords, they don't change, it's those 4 chords in that order. That's the progression all the way through the song. In terms of the strumming pattern, well, that's slightly different, and I think this is what gives the song its motion. So let's have a look at that then. So it's E minor 7th, we know that. Now there's 4 downstrokes, but it's not. No, that's not that at all, okay? We play the chord in full on the 1st downstroke, but then all you do is you play the bass note twice, and then on the final downstroke you play just the strings 2, 3 and 4, so it's kind of partial E minor 7th chord, okay? That's all that is. So let's hear that then. So full, 2 bass notes, then partial, and try and kind of accentuate the well, the 1st downstroke and the last downstroke really, but certainly that partial one, because that also gives the song its wonderful rhythm. Okay, so I'm just gonna play that through then, that E minor 7th. Hopefully this will make sense now I'm playing it. Okay, so I think that sounds like it makes sense. Yeah, come on. So I don't think that's going to cause too many issues at all. In terms of the placing of the chords, I have seen a few different versions of this online, of course, as you always get. Some playing open chords. No, that's not going to work. It's too ringy outy, if that's an actual phrase. The E minor 7th is always going to be here, but sometimes you can play B minor 7th here, because then you can keep that pattern for the A minor 7th. So I quite like that. That's quite good. It's quite quite neat in that it's in one area, isn't it, across 4 frets, okay, or 3 frets in fact. Okay, so yeah, that's good, that is, isn't it? Probably better than the way I've just shown you. Didn't realise that. Yeah, there's other ways you could play it as well. Okay, you can have the E minor 7th, then the B minor 7th here. Then you could slide up 4 frets for a D minor 7th, then down to the 5th fret for the A minor 7th. So there you go. There's 3 ways that you can play this song. But they all work. I would say of the 3 of them, the least one that I like is that 3rd one. I don't really like the idea of moving up like that. But certainly the first 2 would be very close to the original recording. I think as long as you get that accentuated 1st and final downstroke on each bar, I think you're going to be fine. Okay, so yeah, I actually quite like that one. Yeah, you know what I said earlier? I like that one the most, actually. There's very little movement there for new guitarists, isn't there? That kind of nice descending pattern as well, isn't it? Yeah, that song's going to go down quite well, I think, when you play that one. Really easy to play, shouldn't cause any issues at all. Just a little note on playing those bar chords. Now, of course, with the the kind of minor sevenths. Just got to be a bit careful there not to let the strings ring out. Okay, so that B minor seventh, for example, I've seen some people play it like this with that high E ringing out. Okay, well that's not the idea at all. What you need to do is bar it. So I use my thumb over the top there, and then I use the first finger, but might be hard for you to see, but I'm just using the fleshy part of my middle part of my inside of the finger to just dampen that string. Okay, so you see I'm not actually fretting that, not fretting that 7th fret on the high E string. Okay, just dampening it with the inside fleshy part of my my finger there. Okay, so yeah, that's really important. And even on the E minor 7th, although you can let the E ring out, there's no real need to, because you got those 2 bass notes that follow it. I don't really think you want the low E kind of resonating or buzzing as you're playing that. Okay, so yeah, so for example, if you play this, yeah, can you see it? It kind of buzzed a little bit, didn't it there? I wouldn't advise that. So try and just keep it simple. Okay, get that rhythm. Yeah, lovely song though, that one really sounds good. And this is an old bashed up guitar, this one. Not worth more than $10, this guitar here. Very rarely use it, but I don't know if it comes into its own on these sorts of songs. Okay, there's a kind of fragility, as I mentioned earlier, about this song, and if you know about the artist, there's a lot of mystery about what happened to that artist. Okay, so well worth checking out the music of Shiloh Dynasty, and if you found it useful, of course, like and subscribe, and if you have any requests, put them in the comments.